Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about all the books I read in the month of February. So in the month of February, I read a total of 7 books, which is not too bad. It's about the same I read. I think it's actually exactly the same I read in January, but 2 or 3 of the ones I read in January were like children's, a lot shorter, easier, not really full-length books. So I did do a little bit better because I didn't read like that much children's stuff. So for this month, I do feel like I've started to get out of my slump, especially towards the end of the month. So I'm really excited for March here. And I've been like reading a bit more consistently. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm excited to talk about these books. So the first book that I read in the month of February was A Midsummer Night, no filter. This is like a retelling kind of by a Brett Wright. And it's basically just A Midsummer Night's Dream by William Shakespeare, retold throughout text messages. I have one of YOLO Juliet of this. I really enjoyed that one. I have seen the play for this one, so I already know the story pretty decently well because of that. And I will say this wasn't my favorite. I definitely enjoyed YOLO Juliet more than this one. I just felt like it was done better than this one was. There was some stuff that I guess just wasn't as humorous or like conveyed as well through this method, but it was still all right. I think I gave it like a 3.5 stars. I can't remember exactly. I'll put it up somewhere, but yeah. So then the next book I read was Fairest of All. I do not remember who this was by, but this is one of the Disney villains book. It's a Snow White retelling, I guess, but it's focused on her stepmother, the Wicked Queen, the Evil Queen. I can't even remember what they call her in the movie. I think it's the Evil Queen. So it's focused on her story, and I thought it was fine. I thought that I had to read these in order because there's obviously some villains that I'm more interested in, and after reading this one, I don't think that I have to read it in order. I'm just not that interested in Snow White or her story in general, but it wasn't like bad or anything. There wasn't anything in particular that stood out to me content wise at all. Obviously, it's a villain story. There are some like creepy tones to it, but nothing really like big. The next book I read was my Christian nonfiction book club pick for January and February, and that was Defying Jihad. I might be pronouncing that wrong. Put it up here. I do not remember her name. I think it's Esther. It's Esther something. But this is basically her real life story. So it is, it's nonfiction and all that, of a Muslim girl who came to know Christ and convert to Christianity. I do believe somebody else like helped write this down. I believe it should be on the thing, but it was so well done. I can't remember what I gave this. Hold on. I think I gave it a 4.75. I'll have all the details up. But I really enjoyed this one. It was such a fantastic story. And for a nonfiction kind of memoir like storytelling, it felt like I was reading a novel. So it was just so well done and written. There's a lot of like information about Muslim extremists, especially because she had a lot of connection, influence, and that stuff in her life, more of the Muslim extremist side in her life. So that was like really interesting to hear and kind of see a little glimpse into that. And also just her story and everything that is woven in. There's even like a love story in this. And it was just a really great read. And I'm very glad we got to read it for book club. It was a great one to start out the year with, a 4.75 stars. 5-star nonfictions are just hard for me, I feel like. But everybody is weird with their, how they rate things or whatnot. But I really enjoyed this one. It was so close to a 5-star. Nothing like huge or big or anything like that, but it just didn't quite give me that feeling. There were a few small things. Nonetheless, I would still recommend it to absolutely everyone, and I know others in the book club did actually give this a 5 stars, so I'm just a very picky 5-star giver. Right, and then next I read By the Pricking of My Thumbs by Agatha Christie. This is the 4th in the oh gosh, what were their names? Tommy and Tuppence? Tuppence series. So there's 5 in this series of this couple, Tommy and Tuppence, and they're a bit older in this one because it's number 4. I didn't know that this was number 4, but it was for my trimming the TBR video. I really enjoyed this one. I think I gave this one a 4 stars. Again, I'll pop it up somewhere. But this was one of the more enjoyable ones that just had something extra for me that I personally enjoyed more. So I love Agatha Christie, but a lot of her novels are just 3 to 3.5. So I was very happy to find another one that was a little bit higher ranking for me. And I would highly recommend this one. If you want to hear any more about that, I will link my trimming the TBR video because I do give a little bit more info on that one in particular. All right, the next one I have was an arc that I read this month, trying to catch up on a few of the arcs that I had already gotten a hold of. I'm not going to be taking any more for a little bit just because of my pregnancy and not feeling well, but I'm trying to get through the ones that I had already gotten a hold of before I got super sick. And I had gotten some quite a bit out. But anyway, this one is It's Time to Talk to Your Kids About Porn, and that is by Greta Eskridge. This was a phenomenal book. I believe I did give this one 5 stars. I think I did. Yeah, I'm going to have to double check that because if I did, that would be my first 5-star of the year. Anyway, this one was phenomenal. Guys, every parent needs to get and read this book. The author did such a great job at taking this from not only a biblical standpoint, but also bringing in a lot of research and just, practical help and conversation starters, ideas and stuff, and how to deal with and talk about this stuff with your kids. And she also, I think she recommends normally around 5 to 6 is the age to start bringing in certain things in conversation. And she goes through and gives you outlines on all of this stuff. So even if you think your kid's too young, it's not too young for you to learn about it and to prepare. And I think the more time you have to prepare on such a touchy, hard subject as this, all the better. So I would recommend, even if your little one is a baby, if you're expecting, if you want kids in the future, go grab this book. It comes out March 4th. So I'm trying to think of when this video comes out. It might already be out or it might just about to be out. So yeah, I highly, highly recommend that one. And then the next one I read was an arc from the author, and that was Perfectly Faked by Grace Worthington. This is the second in a hockey romance series. This is a clean hockey romance series. I have enjoyed Grace's writing. She's kind of like a palate cleanser author for me. I find that some of those romances are just really nice, quick, and easy to get through. There's nothing crazy special about them, but there's always something that I really enjoy about the story and that keeps me hooked. I believe I gave this one a 3.5 stars. It was very cute. This one was about a hockey player and a figure skater, and they used to date in college, but something happened. So this is a second chance romance. This was very cute if you're looking for hockey romance and stuff. Grace is a very easy to get into author. I feel like she does write a little bit of tension, but I feel like her books and stuff is pretty decently light on the tension. It's not too much, but she always has a couple little things in her books, just to be warned for those who don't like the tension. And then the last book I read, the one that I finished up the month with, which I had kind of started closer to the beginning of the month with to begin with, was Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. This was a classic, my classic for the month, and I'm very glad that I finally read this book. It had been on my TBR a couple of months, I believe, so I'm very glad that I got through it and read it. I did know this story. I've watched a movie. I've watched the Lizzie Bennet Diaries here on YouTube, which I highly enjoyed, and I've been rewatching the Lizzie Bennet Diaries with this. I haven't finished rewatching the Lizzie Bennet Diaries, but I did finish this up by the end of the month. So if anybody wants to watch that, I would just warn there is a little bit of cussing in the Lizzie Bennet Diaries, and it's just a modernized retelling basically through a web series. So I really enjoyed this, though. It's not amazing to me personally. I don't know. I don't hate her writing, but I'm not obsessed with her writing. And I had a lot of fun with it, but I also think some of my enjoyment came from already knowing the series and loving certain things to where like I was connecting and stuff. And I have enjoyed like the retellings and be able to see and know the original story so much. I think I landed at a 4.25 stars for this one. So yeah, I know this is a favorite for a lot of people, so I don't want to say it's not one to check out. I would probably say that it definitely is one to check out because it could be your favorite, but even if it's not your favorite, I still think you'd pleasantly enjoy it. There's just so much drama filled in this, in all the like the society of this time and the marriages and stuff. Everybody's just trying to get everybody married off, and it's quite funny. I don't find it the most humorous of classics, but it's quite funny and very drama filled and very entertaining. And I enjoyed it pleasantly well. So, right, so those were the 7 books. Hope I didn't forget any. The 7 books that I read in the month of February. I tried to loosely participate in the February thing. I only read that one actual Fairytale retelling though. So I don't know. I was never 100% like, it wasn't 100% clear to me whether or not it all had to be Fairytale retellings or not, because if it didn't, I almost filled all the prompts, but if it did, then I really didn't, because I only read that one Fairytale retelling. I don't know, I've liked some, but I don't think they're like one of the biggest things that I'm into personally. There have been some that I've really liked, and sometimes I do want it like just a fun little retelling, but I don't think I'm not like obsessed with them. So I am excited for middle grade March though. I'm excited just for the month of March, and to get back into reading more consistently here, because it's definitely picked up towards the end of February for me. I had a pretty decent reading month. I think my favorite was probably It's Time to Talk to Your Kids About Porn by Greta Eskridge, but I had quite a few very close calls. Defying Jihad and Pride and Prejudice were both very well done and above 4-star reads for me. So yeah, I would love to hear in the comments, what was your favorite read of this month? Did you have a 5-star read? Talk about it down below in the comments, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!